They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get wholesale pricing on the classic My Pillows for $17.98. Transform any mattress with a My Mattress topper and save up to $100. Get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $39.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Rest easy remembering that MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty. Call today, 800-489-0201, promo code LIBERTY.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. If we want to preserve our constitutional republic, we need an informed and educated citizenry. And that's what this show is all about. Find out what's really happening. It's time to stop the lies and learn the truth. This is The Real Story with your host, Jeanne Ives.
Well, welcome, and thank you for joining me on the final show of The Real Story with Jeanne Ives. That's right, this is the final show. We are going to be moving to The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson, and that begins tomorrow on this station, AM 560 Chicago, at 11 a.m. Amy and I are going to take the show over, and we'll be on Monday through Friday, every day, 11 a.m. through noon. So I'm really excited about this opportunity to bring more information to folks, and that's why I call it The Real Story. And Amy likes it just as well, so we decided to settle on it. Why not? And it's The Real Story because we don't just bring you a bunch of pundits and procrastinators. We just bring you people who are in the fight, people that are actually experiencing things that are important for you to understand, people that are the actual legislators that are in the fight down in Springfield. We'll bring in aldermen like Alderman Ray Lopez. We'll be bringing people that are informed. And that's what we're going to continue to do in our Monday through Friday show, 11 a.m. to noon. And it all starts tomorrow. But I didn't want to leave an empty Sunday if they were going to let me talk. I thought, okay, let's do another 2-hour show tonight. And we've got a full complement of things to discuss tonight. I'm going to tell you who I'm supporting for governor. I think everybody knows. I already told you it's Ted Dabrowski. But I'm going to give you a little bit more information about why Ted and certainly why not the others that are running. So we'll get into that as well. I also have some local folks coming on. I've got Lou Halkias from Naperville. He's going to come on at the bottom of this hour and talk to you a little bit about what's happening in Naperville. There's a big energy vote that's going to happen on Tuesday. It's really important for affordability. If that's the watchword these days, Democrats, affordability, then you may want to vote to stay in the IMEA contract. And Lou will give us all that information. After the break, then I'm going to have Ed Tiesenga come on. He is an Oak Brick trustee, but he's much, much more than that. He's a very accomplished lawyer, and he has started a number of databases that essentially tracks government spending. They even have a mobile app where you can go from, as you're driving by, you can see how things change with every city that you drive through in terms of debt, in terms of their finances, in terms of their quality of life metrics that he has all put into this massive database. In fact, he's got about 5 different ones. He's going to be on to explain that. And in the 8 o'clock hour, I'm really excited because we're going to take you all the way to Australia. And if my husband's listening, I don't even know if I told you this, but I'm having your brother on the show because we're going to talk about the other side of the immigration debate that is completely lost. And that's the fact that a lot of folks who are here who are trying to come over legally are getting completely blocked by the bureaucracy. In this case, I've brought you Dave Ives' story a couple times before on the show, but it is 4 years now, 4 years that Dave, as an Air Force veteran, 2 U.S.-born children, a wife he's been married to for over 30 years, who those two collectively have raised 2 great kids. They have property in Florida. They've been paying federal taxes, and she is stuck in hell hole in terms of trying to immigrate here and get a new green card, a renewed green card, by the way. She had one. It lapsed because guess what? When you're working for a defense contractor overseas and you don't make it back every year to renew it, that's what happens. They always figured that when it came time to come back to the U.S., it'd be easy to renew it. Well, not so much. They've been doing this for 4 years, completely lost in the debate. So we're going to get an update from Dave. And of course, as always, we will finish out with the Edgar County Watchdogs. So we have a really full show for you tonight. And it is the last one of the real story. If you want to call in and comment, maybe give us suggestions for what to cover in our morning show, I'm happy to do that too. The phone number here is 312-642-5600. But I really wanted to start out with this phenomenal news because I sat next to Riley Gaines last night at a Concerned Parents Gala in Oak Brook at Gibson's. It was fantastic. Christina McCoy outdid herself in putting this together. Her and her team of concerned parents just put together a wonderful ball gown, incredible flowers on the table, amazing dinner as well at Gibson's. And I got the primo seat. I was sitting right next to Riley Gaines, and next to her was her husband. And they also had her baby daughter, only 4 months old. And, so there's Riley talking about what she's been going through, trying to fight against these men and women's sports. And that's been really became her calling card after she got a trophy taken to her after literally tying in a swim competition against Leah Thomas, a 6'4" male and female impersonator, as Dan likes to call him. And, she told that story and she said, I thought it was courageous just to stand up and tell people, look, there's only 2 sexes and you can't change them. She's right. She's right. But you know what? I guess that it took a lot of courage, and finally people are waking up to that fact. And guess what? Now the courts are waking up to the fact of what has been done to minor children. And in an earth-shattering verdict coming out of New York, a 22-year-old woman who identified as a boy in her teen years won a $2 million decision in a landmark lawsuit against New York doctors accused of pushing a double mastectomy on her when she was only 16 years old. Yep, that's right. So she considered herself a detransitioner and was awarded $1.6 million for the past and future pain and suffering, and an additional $400,000 for future medical expenses. She's the first detransitioner malpractice lawsuit winner in the nation to go on trial and to win. Psychologist Kenneth Einhorn and surgeon Simon Chin were held responsible in Westchester County Supreme Court in White Plains for ignoring standards of care and procedural guardrails by pressuring the minor into addressing gender dysphoria with permanent surgery, the jury decided. This is a huge verdict. It will open the floodgates for other doctors, hospitals, psychologists, psychiatrists, and all the other attending idiots who allowed minors to transition, to take complicated hormonal treatment, to literally cut off healthy body parts, all in the idea that they can change their sex, all which anybody with 1 ounce of common sense knows is completely idiotic. It just can't happen. So the entire transgender is falling apart. This is absolutely great news. And you know what? But here in Illinois, we still have Governor Pritzker, but for the Trump administration essentially weighing in and saying, we will take your money, hospitals, surgery centers, doctors, we will take your money if you dare to do anything in terms of trans procedures on minors. Only that has stopped particular outfits from going forward with these same procedures. Now, is it still being done? Very much likely. Is Planned Parenthood likely handing out hormonal drug therapies to minors? I wouldn't doubt it one bit. And Governor Pritzker, it won't protect your kids. He doesn't care. He only cares about this issue to affirm kids with gender dysphoria, to affirm that they should be able to try these experimental drugs, to affirm trans surgeries on them. That's what he wants. His guidelines from the State Board of Education still say that school districts in the city in Illinois can socially transition kids behind the parents' backs. That's the official policy of the Pritzker administration. He hasn't changed that one bit. Not one bit. Honestly, we need to start suing schools. And they have been sued. Trust me, they have been sued. But not enough, and not in Illinois, for socially transitioning kids. And I got a Facebook message or a comment from somebody who's like, this has never happened. Schools aren't socially transitioned. Hell yeah, they are. Just Google J. Keck USA Today. He wrote the story about what happened to his daughter in the Hinsdale school system, where all the smart and rich people live, all the ones who think they know better than the rest of us. He wrote the story about what his child went through. They socially transitioned her behind his back, and he speaks in that article about her being on the autism spectrum. They took somebody who was not even aware of really what she was going down, the path she was going down, and behind the parents' back, after he warned them, don't do this, call her by her right name, don't use other pronouns, don't let her dress differently. After telling the school district, they continued to do it. We need lawsuits. It's the only thing these idiots understand. That's what we need. But this is a huge victory, and I can't wait for more people to just through the nose. In fact, but they should lose their medical license. That's what they should do. All these licensing authorities should pull their licenses for having done this to a minor child. They shouldn't even do it for adults. You can't change your sex. I don't care what age you are. You can't change your sex. You just can't. And I don't want to pay for it either. Oh, by the way, I don't want to pay for it. Oh, you're in a prison and you need hormone drugs to keep up with your fake gender change. Really, I don't want to pay for it. Not interested one bit. But that is what's happening. So that was a huge story coming out of this weekend. Okay, let's see. How much time do we have? You know what? I'm running a little bit short on time. I want to get to my next guest. So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back. And we're going to be talking with Lou Halkias of Naperville about their big energy decision coming up on the city council this Tuesday. This is The Real Story with Jeanne Ives. Thanks for joining us.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? My name is Hugh McKenzie, and I'm a devout listener of The Answer. They have partnered with Food for the Poor consistently for the last few years. In the past, I've always wanted to participate, but unfortunately never had the extra cash at the end of the year to do so. But last weekend, I received the mail, and there was a bonus check for $2,500 from Mack Truck for selling commercial vehicles. I decided that I was all in. As I mentioned, I sell commercial vehicles. Everything from Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, new and used. I've been selling for over 30 years in the Chicagoland market. Call me at 630-918-9534 or check me out on the web. Google my name, Hugh McKenzie, and Hugh is spelled H-U-G-H, McKenzie is spelled M-C-K-E-N-T-Y. All right, thank you very much for your time.
To contact Hugh McKenzie, search Hugh McKenzie on LinkedIn or call 630-918-9534. That's 630-918-9534.
Now, more of The Real Story with your host, Jeanne Ives.
All right, welcome back. It is The Real Story with Jeanne Ives, and as I said, this is our last nightly version of The Real Story. We move tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to noon, and I co-host it with Amy Jacobson, and we're excited because we're going to continue to bring incredible guests, people in the know, people that are actually working with the topics that we are talking about, not just pundits. And, just to give you an example of that, my next guest is just one of those folks. His name is Lou Halkias. He's from Naperville. He sits on the Public Utilities Advisory Board. And I think he'll do a little bit of disclaimer there. But he's here to talk about this really important energy decision coming up Tuesday night at the Naperville City Council. It's been a long, delayed, and controversial decision. I don't think it should be controversial. But you know what? I wanted to have Lou on ahead of this because depending on what happens Tuesday night, Napervillians could be facing enormous increases in power costs in the out years. And they need to be thinking ahead of where the country is going in terms of its power and its power usage. And so Lou joins me tonight. Thanks so much, Lou, for being on The Real Story.
Jeanne, thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it, and you're doing a great job.
Okay, well, thank you.
That's
terrific. So currently, as far as I understand, Naperville residents have a 25% lower power charges than ComEd customers. And there's a number of studies that have been done have been done. I know the Power Utility or the Public Utility Advisory Board has done a lot of these studies, brought in the experts. Your power charges are so much lower. That's significant. I've also know that in the last 12 years, your power costs have essentially remained flat, even though the cost of living has increased 40%. And that if you do exit the IMEA, all the benefit for the amount that you have invested in a power plant will go away because your power costs are expected to actually decrease even more when those bonds are paid off. Is that essentially the decision matrix that people should be thinking about?
Well, first of all, everything you said is correct. And before I go any further, just to make sure that I follow my appropriate actions here, although I am the chairman of the Public Utility Advisory Board for Naperville, the opinions I'm going to speak about tonight are my own and do not represent the views of the PUAB, the City Council, or the City of Naperville. However, I'm going to speak my mind as to what is really happening here. I'm also just to mention, a 32-year retired federal law enforcement officer. 22 of those 32 years was with the Environmental Protection Agency, and I was in charge of the criminal program there as the acting director for the criminal program. So I have an idea of what I'm talking about and the people that I've talked to for those 22 years out of Washington. Now, here we are coming up this Tuesday here in Naperville, and there is going to be a city council meeting. And because of that city council meeting, which starts at 7 p.m. at City Hall, on the agenda with the city council is to consider whether to direct city staff, to discontinue for the time being negotiations for a successor power sales agreement with the IMEA, Illinois Municipal Electric Agency. And there's been some talk about, they might just go ahead and vote to just eliminate the whole situation. Now, out of the number of city council members, there are 6 of them that are determined and feel determined that they are subject matter experts, which is why they have the PUAB, people that have been in this industry before, to give them advice. Now, Naperville spent over $200,000 on consultants to review specifically.
You think they may have learned something from the consultants, or what?
Well, I want to tell you something. We're not the only. There are 32 cities within IMEA in Illinois, and one of them up here in the northern part is Winnetka. And Winnetka has you might say, well, I'm just going to say there's a lot of demographics that are similar to Naperville. And they reviewed the very same facts that we reviewed. And they came to the conclusion, they voted unanimously to go with IMEA and stay with IMEA because it was the best thing financially for their city. Now, there are many people on our city council that talk about that they want to help the poor people, loaves and fishes. We've even, the people have brought in to the PUAB to present and to City Council Loaves and Fishes videos that show people aren't making it, and Loaves and Fishes is spending more money on helping the residents here in Naperville that just can't make it. And they're asking them, what is it that you need help on? And they're saying, well, a lot of times we just can't handle our utilities. Yet, some of these people on the City Council are considering to go ahead and go forward with eliminating the cheapest, not only the cheapest electricity and very reliable, but coming from a facility here in Illinois and in Kentucky that is a coal-fired generating plant. Now, the people, the critics that are against this are saying, oh, remember what coal plants look like, coal generators, you know, with all that black smoke coming out? Well, that's not the case. Now, the technology that is currently being used at Prairie State in Marissa, Illinois, is state-of-the-art, cost $1 billion for them to scrub their discharge coming from the smokestack, and is well within, there is nothing even close within the parameters within US EPA or Illinois EPA that are required. It is very, very clean. Basically, the thing that's coming out is CO2. CO2 is what you and I breathe.
Right.
And of course, these people, the critics, and what they have done politically is to say that that's toxic. CO2 is not toxic. CO2 is a life blood type of gas on the earth. And as a matter of fact, this is a CO2 short earth. We need more CO2. If you look at the leaves of ancient times when they were very big and versus now, our leaves are very small because we don't have it. There was more CO2. We'd have more crops. We'd have better.
Well, listen, we know they pump. Lou, they pump CO2 into the marijuana growing greenhouses. All right.
Yes.
They do that for a reason.
Yes.
They want those plants to be big, so they can get more production out of it. So
absolutely. So it's not an environmental issue.
No.
That these people, they started in environmental, but it's not environmental. It is not political either. However, only one side of the political aisle is pushing the politics of this. Whatever happens here in Naperville is going to impact people from both sides of the aisle. Everybody's electricity is going to go up, not just one side. And the people that can afford it the least are going to be impacted the most. I've listened to people from the other side of this issue say that they don't care, that people, you know, sometimes you have to pay more for these things. We used to have a president a while ago that felt the higher you made fossil fuels and the less people could afford it, the better it is for the earth.
That's not true.
If we had people like that, and the people that are fighting this IMEA right now, we wouldn't even have gasoline cars.
Yeah, well,
type of thing.
You know, let's just take a breather here. This is actually very, very good information. But there are 32 entities in the IMEA. Cities, villages.
32 cities.
32, right. And 32 how many of them have already renewed with the IMEA?
30 of them.
30.
Have.
30.
30. Now, and that includes Winnetka that voted unanimously, their city council.
Yeah.
There's another one.
But you know what? All those city council members on Naperville and their little environmental activist group, they just know more. They're just more informed. You know, they're from Naperville.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's what they
exactly
think.
what the rest of the state feels about it when they're talking about Naperville. Why is this such a difficult decision for Naperville or everybody else? Now, it'll make no impact with the environment. None. And things are going to continue to operate in southern Illinois. That coal-fired generating plant that is state-of-the-art is going to continue to put out electricity.
100%. We can't. Look, if you guys pulled out of IMEA, they wouldn't care one bit. The only thing about it is they had to offer you the option to stay in because they have to plan for the future. And so they're like, hey, are you staying in the IMEA or not? Because otherwise We'll sell our coal power to somebody else, suckers, and you guys will pay ComEd prices, which are only going to escalate under Governor Pritzker's policies, especially his latest green energy initiatives. Hey, you only got 30 seconds to close out the deal.
You
here.
mentioned another thing. We've invested close to $700 million, Naperville has, to make that coal-fired plant state-of-the-art.
Okay,
and
hey,
we're
Lou.
going to walk away from that.
No, you should not walk away from that. Lou, you got 20 seconds. Tell people what they should do if they're listening and they're a Naperville resident.
So we need you to come to the City Council February 3rd, 7 p.m. City Hall. We need you to also remember affordablenaperville.com. They have all the story. It's in local terms that you can understand.
Okay.
And they have a weekly newsletter.
All right. Thanks, Lou.
Isn't sure what's left to say.
What an excellent way to describe Tim Walz. A radical moron who absolutely enable this kind of behavior. They're not telling people to stand down. They're not discouraging people from interfering with lawful immigration efforts. I don't know what else to say.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Alex Marlowe at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Fox News, I'm Carmen Roberts. A bomb cyclone slammed the southeast yesterday, leaving record snow in North Carolina. Fox Weather's Bob Van Dillen is in Charlotte, where they got the most in 20 years.
11 inches of snow starting to melt away a little bit on the streets, but the problem is you've got the Arctic air locked in place. Winds are going to start dying down, and that means you're going to see these temperatures bomb down again to the single digits. And unfortunately, every slushy thing you see in the roadways all around the Carolinas is going to refreeze again for tonight.
President Trump reacting to Iran's supreme leader, claiming that U.S. attack would result in a regional war. He tells reporters,
"We have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there, very close. Couple of days, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we don't make a deal, then we'll find out whether or not he was right."
America's listening to Fox News.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Stay tuned for a special message from Angel Dad Joe Abraham about his daughter Katie.
Put yourself in my shoes. I just spent my first Christmas without Katie. My daughter was murdered by an illegal immigrant Governor Pritzker protected. Imagine her final breaths, knowing that you would have given your life for hers, but you didn't have the chance. Put your child in Katie's shoes. Think of the unfulfilled dreams, the unrealized joys, and the permanent loss. I'm not a political guy, but when politicians unleash violent criminals, we all need to get involved. We can do better, and we must do better. Ted Dabrowski would have protected Katie, and he'll protect your children the way I wish someone had protected mine.
I'm Ted Dabrowski, and I approve this message.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's joint arthritis treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Is your child tackling new challenges in math this year? Working hard to get ahead of the pack? Here's the good news. There's a secret weapon. Mathnasium, the authority on math education. With over 1,000 learning centers worldwide, we know what it takes to build real confidence in math. Here's what sets us apart. Expert instructors who teach each student individually. No cookie-cutter approach. No rushing through lessons. We create customized learning plans designed specifically for your child's needs. helping them achieve their academic goals, not just this semester, but all year long. Whether they're struggling to catch up or ready to excel, our proven methods work. Kids leave Mathnasium stronger in math, more confident in the classroom, and ready to handle whatever comes next. Visit Mathnasium today and discover why parents trust us with their child's math education. Mathnasium, where kids love math.
With over 50 years of precision tooling, that's a lot of job shop work and custom parts. And it's why Bruscher Machining is the go-to CNC turning and machining company in Chicagoland. If you have a custom project, whether it's a single prototype or a short-run production of a few thousand pieces, give them a call today for your free custom quote, 630-876-1661. That's 630-876-1661. Or visit BruscherMachining.com. That's BRUCHER Machining.com. They also provide heat treating, balancing, plating, and surface coating, welding and fabrication, plus project management. Bruscher Machining guarantees to consistently deliver high-quality parts and solutions on time for reasonable prices. Yeah, everyone says that, but the proof is in the tooling. Stop by to meet their team of seasoned pros and tour the facility located in West Chicago. To learn more about how CNC machining can turn your tough project into an operational reality, contact Bruscher Machining today for your free custom quote, 630-876-1661.
You're listening to The Real Story with your host, Jeanne Ives.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining me tonight. The phone number here, 312-642-5600. And towards the end of there, I'm sorry, we had to cut off Lou. Sometimes we have those hard breaks. And you know what? He was just starting to tell people about Affordable Naperville. It's a place where Naper residents can get access to all sorts of information. It's at affordablenaperville.com. The website is run by concerned citizens, and they are speaking up for the taxpayers and ratepayers of Naperville. The website's easy to use, and it has lots of good information for taxpayers to consider. I really appreciate the fact that they have put in this work to put a website like this together, but that was the website that Lou, at the end of our conversation, was discussing. And again, that Naperville meeting on their energy decision is Tuesday night for residents who care about affordable Naperville. Anyway, really excited because we're going to continue on the local area, but with somebody who has really built out quite a database for folks who want to look across the nation and compare communities on a variety of metrics. And so I'm going to be speaking now with Ed Tiesenga. He is a managing partner for his law firm. He concentrates on corporate formation, transactions, and litigation. He understands how businesses operate locally, regionally, and throughout the world, and appreciates the economic value and social benefits generated by healthy businesses. Oh my gosh, what a great line. He's been in private practice since 1984. He's been with his current firm since 95, and he represents a diverse commercial client base, including product manufacturers, distributors, and exporters. And instead, these are real people, people who really make and produce things. Also suppliers and assemblers, special plastics and electronics engineering companies, software developers. I mean, let's just keep it simple. Ed's a very, very smart man. But in addition to a full career as a lawyer, he also concerns himself with leaf collection in Oak Brook, filling potholes, keeping shoppers safe at the well-appointed Oak Brook Mall, and various other important work as a longtime village trustee. He's in his third term as village trustee in Oak Brook. And in between those duties, Ed has put together a number of data sites related to government spending and debt in Illinois and elsewhere. And those sites can be found at his law firm's address. You can go to oakbrook-law.com, and you'll see it in the top tabs, and you want to go to data center. And I just got to meet Ed about a week ago, and he was telling me all this information he has, and I'm just amazed. So I wanted to bring him on and have him discuss his interest in this data, why it's important, and how he got started. Ed, thank you so much for joining me on The Real Story.
Hi, Jeanne. Nice to be with you. And thank you for that fulsome introduction.
Well, I mean, I think, wow, I mean, you're just so accomplished. But I mean, first of all, I'm so impressed with everything that you've done in terms of your professional career. But then you've got these other sites, statusgnostics.com. You can search for comprehensive information about any address in the United States. You've got fiscaltrim.com, where you can check out financial information for any unit of government in the United States. You've got satisfaction.com, where you can evaluate your own subjective life satisfaction index, where you live now and compare it to other locations in the United States. And then you have spendingpressure.com, and that tells you what your spending pressure is from all the units of government funding themselves from your location. Have I kind of summed it up?
Yes, and it all started with spending pressure. I lived in Elmhurst for 23 years, but I moved my office to Oak Brook 26 years ago. And then in 2011, I actually moved myself to Oak Brook. And I noticed that my tax bill plummeted. And I wanted to sort of dig into that a little bit because living in Elmhurst with all those line items on my property tax bill, and then moving to Oak Brook with fewer line items, I got very interested in what puts the pressure on an address. And I kind of boiled it down. I've been thinking about this since about 2011. I thought, what if you could figure out, if you're as a taxpayer, what's the pressure of all the units of government that you pay for that on your address? And how could you find out the budget history of each one, the combined units of government? How could you get a top-level spreadsheet with subledgers displaying everything in the big chart? How could you calculate the expansion of their spending? And how much of that were they duplicating? And I thought about that for years. And about 7 years ago, I met a guy from Hillsdale College, an economics major named Carl Miller. And I said, how could we get this down into a comparable, easy to figure out metric? I said, I'd like to use spending pressure, just like blood pressure. You go to the doctor, they take your blood pressure. And if it's high, then it says, let's go look for something else. Let's figure it out. So we said, let's come up with a composite score to score the health of every address in the United States based on how much pressure is being exerted on all those, on that address. Because there's 93,000 units of government in the United States. We all get distracted into thinking about what's that federal government doing? What's the national debt? What's tax policy? And we get torn apart, thinking about that. But the economics of where you live are much more subjective. And what happens to you from a local government has much more impact on your life than what just happens to the whole country at once through the federal government. So we started with Elmhurst and Oak Brook. And we said, where are we going to get these statistics to make them comparable? And Carl, along with another guy named Josiah Taylor from Wheaton College, they located the databases that are already kept by the U.S. Census Bureau, into which every single unit of government has to pump their numbers every 4 years, and a lot of them do it annually. The federal government has 250,000 databases with all this information in it. So Carl came back and he said, you're not going to believe this. The data needed to compare Elmhurst to Oak Brook can be scaled, and we can do every address in the United States.
That's
and
amazing.
that began our project. And we said, why stop with Elmhurst and Oak Brook? Let's just do the whole thing.
Well,
but if you want,
yeah, it's amazing. I went and put in my own address, of course, and Wheaton's has a low to moderate spending pressure score. Now, I think maybe the data is a little lagging. Not sure. But the spending is about equal to revenue. Well, spending is $23,703, revenue $21,007, debt burdens $81,321. But of course, a lot of that debt comes from the federal government, $62,000, the state $15,808, county is $500, whatever. But it is all there. All of it's there, and you can see how your town compares. And I could put in another address. You have a comparison right up there. So let's say I want to move to, Tennessee, and I put in an address at a home I'm looking at, and I can just see right there, right?
Yes, and you can see who's doing it to your address. And it's typically the school districts.
Yep.
And the townships virtually have no debt.
Right.
Cities will have a lot of debt. Oak Brook has $6,000 of debt per person. You think, why is that? I thought Oak Brook was debt-free. What it is, it's our fire and police pensions.
Oh.
Because there's an accounting standard that requires the unfunded future liabilities of the pension system to be carried as a current liability on the balance sheet. So although Oak Brook has very low debt, it's still $6,000 per person, but it has very high revenue per person because of the sales tax off the shopping mall.
Yeah.
So you'd say, well, how is this different from a tax bill? Well, we have a very big equation that takes all this information and puts it into the composite score, and it actually measures the acceleration or deceleration of the spending, and it calculates how much revenue is going towards debt service as a percentage. Because as we say, sort of by reference to things you see and you can't see, debt is the assurance of future spending unseen.
Yeah,
You got to pay
can
it
you
off.
say that again? Because when you said that to me, I thought that was so prescient and especially important for taxpayers in the state of Illinois to understand. And I mean, you basically took a biblical verse and sort of turned it. And but say that again and listeners, listen up because this is so true.
Debt is the assurance of future spending unseen.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we came up with a metric called TTI, taxes to interest, and we can calculate this for any address in the United States, because the secret here is there are very good low pressure areas where your blood pressure, if you will, is very good in very bad states. And there are very high spending pressure areas in very, very good states. Examples. We took all the towns in DuPage County and we ranked them by TTI. Who pays the most of their tax revenue to interest? Because the federal government, we all know, pays 22 cents of every dollar for interest service, or debt service in the form of interest. City of Chicago only pays 10%. Detroit only pays 7%. Well, look at DuPage County. The leader here is Oak Brook Terrace. Oak Brook pays 9.21% of all their tax revenue for debt service. The lowest, West Chicago. It even beats Oak Brook. 0.4% of every dollar of tax revenue goes to interest in West Chicago. Oak Brook is 0.7. I heard you talking about Naperville in the segment before. 2.51% of every dollar goes to interest. Now let's look at the promised land of Florida. Top 10 interest-paying towns in Florida. Moorhaven, 24%. That's more than the federal government. Top 10 list, number 10, the mythical paradise of Longboat Key. 4.5% of every dollar goes to debt. That tells you these towns have borrowed a lot of money, and they're only going to be able to pay it back by jacking up your taxes in the future.
Well, that's the other part of it. Debt is the assurance of taxes unseen.
Yes, because they're going to get it from somewhere.
They got to get it.
Then you can look.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Then we broke down using the same government databases. What are the sources of funding of all these towns? Because if you live in Oak Brook basically has the same size government per capita as Elmhurst, but the pressure is far lower. That's because all the money for the police and fire department and all the other village operations come straight off the sales tax at the mall. Mm-hmm. So again, we have the metrics. You can dig down onto status gnostics and in fiscal trim, and you can find exactly what the revenue profile is for every unit of government. So don't be afraid if your spending per capita or looks high, or your debt per capita or revenue per capita might look high. But if it's all coming from somewhere else, it's not coming out of the capital asset value of your home. The other thing we found was that we can get all kinds of other metrics. We can get the school metrics. So you say, Mom, my taxes are high, I live in Elmhurst, how are the schools? Well, you can actually get all the scores. You can get the composite scores for the whole town, and you can get the scores per school. All these databases are available. We geolocated them to your address. Oak Brook, reading score 88, Elmhurst 67, math 90, Oak Brook, Elmhurst 67. So then we did longitudinal graph of 30 years of spending, and we tracked it with the math and science scores of each town. So you go to your school board meeting and you're listening, oh, we need more money because it's got to get the scores higher. Oak Brook, top scores, spending through the roof. Scores don't go down with more spending. Elmhurst, scores have gone down with more spending in the years 2013 to 2018. Spending has gone up, scores have gone down. Well, there goes your argument that you need more taxes to get higher scores. So there's no direct relationship between spending and scores. Chicago, even worse. Spending goes up, scores go down. So look for another reason to live where you're living. And then, of course, you can compare it then to any other town in the United States. Tennessee's not necessarily the promised land. Guess who has the lowest debt per capita? Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Not Tennessee. It's not Florida. So we've turned this into heat maps. We can just produce a heat map that will show you.
Yes, I saw that. I used it. I used your sort of mapping because I went to Satiscation, which is like your satisfaction or perceived life satisfaction at a location. The first thing you do is you ask the people to rank the top 5 things that they care about for a place to locate to. And obviously it's going to change. Like, we're empty nesters, probably wanting to look somewhere else or whatnot. And so you look at different things. And if you're a growing family, right? So food availability, safety, education quality, religion, economic and work opportunities, housing affordability, climate, community type, political preferences, housing availability, culture and lifestyle, environment and medical availability, and transportation accessibility. So you have all these things. You rank your top 5, and then you put them, and then you put a few demographic things in, and they score it, and then you put in an address, and it gives you how satisfied you'd be with living there, which I thought was pretty incredible that you have all that information.
We developed that with a psychologist who wrote his PhD dissertation on that topic, and he found out about spending pressure. He said, I'd love to take that idea of a composite equation and make it work with your external life satisfaction factors. So he has 14 of them. You power rank your top 5. So that'll tell you something like, oh, you wanted to go live in the cheapest possible place with the less spending pressure? Well, maybe you'd be out in unincorporated San Antonio where there's also nothing else. And so so we came up with this idea of going with the non-economic factors. And we used as one of our norms Mount Airy, North Carolina, because that's the mythical Mayberry from, the Andy Griffith show.
Okay.
So we said, well, let's see how Mount Airy stacks up. They actually have pretty high crime compared to a lot of other places, and they don't come off all that well in a stratification ranking. But again, it depends. What do you like?
Right.
Spending pressure is not necessarily bad, because if you're, a creature at the bottom of the ocean, you want a lot of water pressure on you. If you thrive on a subjective feeling of being assured by having a lot of government around you, you want to go live in a high spending pressure area. So it's not a judgment on whether it's good or bad. It's just, we'll give you a tool to say, how would you like to express your subjective preference for where to live? And if you don't like where you live, do you want to maybe change your local level of government by getting elected to it and advocating for something that you prefer? Or is it time to vote with your feet? And we've worked with a master's student in economics at George Mason named Max Laraya on something called the Thibault theorem. Thibault did research saying, how do you analyze people voting with their feet? Do people really end up living where they want to live based on the unit levels of government? And we're putting that theory into sort of quantification with our numbers.
Well, that'd be fantastic to get that study out.
So it's spendingpressure.com, statusgnostics.com, and fiscaltrim.com. Statusgnostics.com is fun to use in the car, because if you just go to statusgnostics.com and click use my location, it will geolocate you where you are, and every 5 seconds it'll refresh, and it will follow you where you go. I know this sounds kind of Big Brother, but it will show you all the statistics of the town you're driving through.
It's best to use it, though, on one of those cars where you have a screen that you can kind of glance at. You can't be glancing at your phone and pick it up, folks.
Yeah, but let's say you're driving with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, if you're driving with somebody else, you can, yeah.
So you drive from here to Crystal Lake, you can see school scores go to 22 in Carpentersville and then pop back up in the next town. So there's just all this variability out there expressed by statistics already being collected by some units of government.
Well, Edward, you're amazing. I really appreciate this. We've got to take a break now, but that's Ed Tiesenga, and you can go to oakbrook-law.com/data-center, and you'll see the whole listing of the particular websites that he told you. Or if you just go to statusgnostics.com, you can link to any of them. So thanks a lot, Ed. I mean, this is phenomenal what you've put together, and I really appreciate your work here and on the Village of Oak Brook board.
All right, nice to be with you, Jeanne.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And you know what, Ed, I do want to have you back, because we were going to talk about state pressure on local governments, and we never had time for that, but we'll have you back to talk about that. Thanks so much.
I made a list. I got them ready for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. We got to go to a break, though. Sorry. Okay, this is The Real Story. We'll be right back.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Whether you're preparing for exams, juggling family and career, or just looking to stay sharp as you age, Think Factor is here to help. Created by the same company that makes Relief Factor, Think Factor supports sharper focus, stronger recall, and clearer thinking. It's the natural way to give your brain the daily nutrients it needs for memory, attention, and even vibrant vision. Call 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com to learn more. Look, I was a little bit skeptical. I started taking Think Factor. After a few weeks, wow, my memory, my focus, my concentration, better than ever. And Think Factor results get better the longer it's taken. If you want to stay focused during demanding tasks, keep your memory strong, maintain mental energy for whatever's ahead, well, Think Factor is for you. Call 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com to learn more and order Think Factor. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily. Call 800-4RELIEF or visit relieffactor.com for Think Factor.
The Real Story with Jeanne Ives continues on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, I hope you go ahead, pop up your laptop, and you guys can check out all those data sites that Ed told us about as we continue on with the show. I don't care. But we're going to take a quick call here. We've got Michael from the South Side.
Jeanne, good evening. Thank you so much for taking my call, and thank you for two great segments to start the show. This is kind of a full circle night. I called you to welcome you on your first show.
Wow!
And now I'm calling to thank you for your service on your last show.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, we appreciate you, and I have to admit, you're a woman of courage, and I think it was so great that you got to sit next to another woman of courage right again.
She's amazing. Yes.
Oh, yes, she is, and I've always had a soft spot for you because of the way the media treated you during your gubernatorial campaign.
Thank you.
I told you that when I first met you at the Freedom Summit a few years ago, and I've held you in high regard for years. So I'm very grateful for your service on this radio show, and I look forward to listening to you on your next show. I wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you, Michael. Oh my gosh, thank you. I really appreciate it. You're a great caller, and I hope you are able to listen in 11 a.m. to noon. And if not, you can catch us on our podcast, and we'll be taking your calls, hopefully, Michael. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Jeanne, for your service and best wishes.
Okay. And real quick, we'll take Glenn from Orlando, but Glenn, we only have like literally 30 seconds.
Hi, Jeanne. So Christopher Rufo wrote a great piece on Inside the Transgender Empire. I recommend everybody read that. That's really good. And some of these doctors, I think they can call them Dr. Frankenstein that does this stuff. But Pritzker...
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Pritzker started this by injecting the transgender theory into schools in 2019.
Yes, he did.
Right after he got,
That's right.
after he got elected.
Yep, Glenn, we got to run. Thank you for the call, Glenn. I appreciate you. You're absolutely right. We'll be right back with The Real Story.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app.
Closing the Kennedy Center. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. President Trump says he is closing the center, now known as the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts, but only for renovations. He posted on Truth Social that the center will close on July 4th in honor of America's 250th anniversary, and that construction will begin on a new spectacular entertainment complex. He estimates it will take about 2 years. North Carolina's digging out after yesterday's historic storm. Fox Weather's Haley Meyer has details from the East Coast town of Greenville.
It was the fourth snowiest North Carolina has ever been in the state's history, the snowiest since 2004. Outer Banks took it hard, one home officially collapsing over in Bunkston due to the intense nor'easter winds and the waves that were crashing on, coupled with astronomical high tide with a full moon. But here in Greenville, we had snowfall reports anywhere from 8 inches to upwards of 15 inches. That would be the snowiest day they've had on record, going all the way back to 1896.
The most snow, 22.5 inches, fell on the mountain town of Faust. And Governor Josh Stein says at least 2 people died in the storm amid 1,000 traffic accidents. Despite the bitter cold, anti-ice protesters continued to make their voices heard in Minneapolis. Fox's Brooke Taylor says overall it was a quieter day, and that President Trump announced he's changing how the federal government will respond to unrest in some cities.
He wrote this on Truth Social. I've instructed Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem that under no circumstances are we going to participate in various poorly run Democrat cities with regard to their protests and or riots unless and until they ask us for help.
And the snowstorm may delay some members of Congress getting back to D.C. to vote on spending plans to end the partial government shutdown. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Tonight, expect intermittent snow and flurries with minimal accumulation as temperatures drop to 21 degrees. As we move into Monday, there will be a few flurries in the morning, giving way to mostly cloudy skies and a high of 27 degrees. Monday night will bring areas of low clouds with temperatures reaching a low of 15 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hut, hut. Listen up and listen up good. If you're tired of run-of-the-mill gifts, then get on over to aviatorfuel.com. You'll find unique military-style cocktail books and barware to go with it. At aviatorfuel.com, we've got the perfect gift for any soldier, sailor, Marine, or just red-blooded American. You'll especially love our military cocktail checklists, modeled off the real Army, Navy, and Marine pilot checklists that military aviators have used for decades. These award-winning books are authentic replicas, but instead of a procedure on how to handle an engine fire, you'll find the procedure for how to make a mojito, written with military jargon throughout. So pick up a cocktail checklist from aviatorfuel.com. Invite some old friends to share war stories over cocktails. Your perfect libation is inside the cocktail checklist. And don't forget matching military-themed barware. Go to aviatorfuel.com and get ready to raise a glass to the brave men and women who serve our country. That's aviatorfuel.com.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
Salem Surround. Is your business hard to find online? Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
The following is presented by Retirement Income Strategies Pro. Listen up, Illinois. Here they are, the top 3 reasons no one is planning for long-term care. Number 3, I'm healthy. I'm not going to need it. Folks, I hate to burst your bubble, but longtermcare.gov says that an astounding 70% of us age 65 and over will need care. Number 2, Medicare pays for that, right? Wrong. Medicare is health insurance and does not cover custodial care, which is long-term care. So unless you want to spend down your personal savings, you need a plan. And the number 1 reason people don't plan for long-term care? My spouse or kids are going to take care of me. Folks, I urge you to reconsider if that's what you're thinking. Don't do that to your kids. Wouldn't you rather leave a legacy for your family and not a burden? Call today and get your free long-term care survival kit. Wait till you see all the options you have. Johnny, tell them how to get their kit.
Just call Certified Senior Advisor Mark Kohler, 844-619-7233. That's 844-619-SAFE.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. If we want to preserve our constitutional republic, we need an informed and educated citizenry. And that's what this show is all about. Find out what's really happening. It's time to stop the lies and learn the truth. This is The Real Story with your host, Jeanne Ives.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining me tonight. The phone number here is 312-642-5600, and it is the last nightly show of The Real Story. But guess what? Tomorrow morning, bright and early, well, actually not bright and early, starting at 11 a.m., it's Amy Jacobson and myself, The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson, beginning at 11 a.m. through noon, Monday through Friday. Same great content. Awesome guests. You're going to learn a lot. That's what we plan to do. We're going to keep the information flow going. Before we go to my guest, something very much related to the topic. This is from CNN. This is a CNN segment that they did on how Americans feel about deportations and illegal immigrants. It's worth a listen in case you missed it.
Yeah, sometimes I like blunt questions because they sort of get at the underlying feelings that people have. So this is about as blunt a question as you can get. Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
So there you go. Yes, the majority of Americans do want illegals, and it didn't say criminal illegals. They want illegals deported. Okay, that's great. Well, there's a flip side to this whole entire immigration debate, and so that's why I want to have my brother-in-law, Dave, who is currently residing in Australia. I wanted him to come on and talk a little bit about what he's gone through in the last 4 years, just trying to get a renewed green card for my sister-in-law. And Dave, I want to thank you so much for joining us. In Australia, I think it's Monday there. Is that right?
Yes. Hello, Jeannie.
Hello.
Yes, it's Monday morning.
Monday morning. What time? Did I get you up early?
11:30
Oh, 11:30
in the morning.
Okay, so it's not too early. Good. Yeah, well, here's the good news. I sat next to Riley Gaines last night at this Concerned Parents Gala, and you know what? I knew that her husband had a hard time getting his green card, so I asked her about it, and she said, "Yeah, we got married in 2022, and he didn't get his green card until I mentioned something to President Trump." That they were delaying everything, all of his paperwork, because he wouldn't take the COVID shot. And so Trump immediately made the policy saying you don't have to take that vaccine to get a green card. And so all of a sudden he got a green card. But even before that, I mean, the process was taking him 3 years. You're on your 4th year. Could you just kind of refresh my listeners' memory? I've had you on a couple times before about what you've gone through so far and what the outlook is right now.
Yeah, it's a long story. It's a 4-year story, but essentially, let me just break it down in this. My daughters left Australia because they were told they had to either take the jab or lose your job. So I told them, I said, you girls have choices. You have U.S. passports. You can leave. So a month later, they were gone. They were on the ground in Florida and living in our home. There was a little delay before living in our home, but essentially you get the idea. They're in our home in Florida, and we told them, Marietta and I said, hey, just wait, we'll be there. I'll get Mom's green card renewed, and we'll see you in a little while. Well, that was 4 years ago. It'll be 4 years in February. This month was 4 years ago. So it took a year before we even got word back that we were, I don't know what the phrase is, but the United States, USCIS, whatever that stands for, immigrations, said you've been accepted. Well, then they handed us over to another agency, the National Visa Center. I'm forgetting some of this stuff because it's been so long. And then it took another year of processing with them. We had to get background checks from all the countries that Marietta had been in. So if somebody meets somebody and gets married to them overseas, and they probably can get this done quickly. But Marietta and I, we lived in Mexico, we lived in England, we had all these in the Philippines. We had all these things that we had to get. So it was a long process. So that took another year. Then we finally got the interview in Sydney, Australia, for the green card, and Marietta took the medical exam, which she passed in flying colors. And they said, oh, and by the way, you got to get this laundry list of vaccines to include the COVID vaccines. And you have to take them all. You have to take everything. And Marietta said, well, I'm not taking those. I'm not taking any of those vaccines. But here's the crazy thing. There's no, it's just backing up a step. It's all bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Because Marietta was living with us for all these years that we've been in Australia as a family, I was working for a U.S. company with a top secret clearance, completely vetted the whole bit. And my daughters didn't have to take any vaccine, just come right home. I didn't have to take any vaccines. But my wife, because her green card expired, has to take this laundry list of vaccines. So can someone please explain to me what the health reason is for making her take all the vaccines, but not us? If someone could explain that to me, that'd be great. But anyway, because she didn't take the laundry list of vaccines, automatic denial of the visa. So the visa's denied. And when you get a denial of the visa, Jeannie, guess what you get on top of that? You can't enter the USA.
At all, even on a tourist visa.
No, she. In other words, the first thing they ask you on the visa waiver program, have you ever been denied a U.S. visa? Yes. Boom, you ain't going. So because we the right thing, I had a boss in the Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel, he used to say, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, we did the good deed of applying to enter the United States legally, getting her green card renewed. She's a former green card holder, a U.S. taxpayer. We've been paying U.S. taxes the whole time on our worldwide income, which is that's a whole nother topic.
Which you paid a premium on when you sold property in Australia. The U.S. wanted their cut on the profit.
Yes, we got smashed by the Australian government. And the next thing you know, I filled out my U.S. tax return with our accountants out of New York. And they came back and said, throw another $20,000 in because the United States sees you made some money off the sale of a property in Brisbane, Australia. So, you think, well, geez, we're here for you paying our taxes, paying all these taxes that I'm not really keen on how the money's being spent, but I don't get a choice in that. But we get to pay the taxes. And then when it came time to go home, what do we get in return for that? We get a big stone wall. And I was going to say that Riley, what's her name?
Riley
The
Gaines.
swimmer, right?
Riley Gaines, the
Thank
swimmer.
you for telling me. Yeah. I know that she was having trouble. I saw her TikTok explaining the same thing about the COVID shot. And I did hear that the COVID, I think you mentioned it. I found it out. You don't need to take it anymore. But I talked to my immigration people that filled out the waiver.
Right, because you had to pay lawyers to do all that for you, by the way, right?
Right.
Because it's so complicated.
It's $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's $1,000 to put the waiver into the U.S. government.
I'm getting angrier, Dave. I'm getting angrier by the moment. Go ahead.
Yep. Well, it's the system. It's the process. And when the bureaucratic process gets in place, it just crushes people and destroys them. It separates families. We've been a separated family now for 4 years. And all you hear is this talk about we don't want to separate families at the border. Okay, well, what about U.S. families? Do they any consideration for that? But anyway, getting back to Riley, she was talking about the fact that, and she brought that to light, that people have to take the COVID shot, green card applicants. Mm-hmm. Well, I talked to my lawyer out of, is it San Francisco, Sacramento, California, and they said, yeah, that's if you're applying. I think it means if you're in the United States already.
Okay.
But if you're applying from overseas, like we are, from Australia, we've been living for years and years and years, it doesn't apply. You still have to take it, and you still have to get the waiver.
That is bullshit.
So what it is, we have in play right now a waiver. Now, and we have put this in a year ago or more. I think the last time I chatted with you, we had put that in.
Mm-hmm.
And the waiver times, if you go to the website, the United States Immigration and Citizenship, whatever they're called, USCIS. If you go to the website, it gives you the time, and it says the time for waivers, and this is how they phrase it, typical government line. 80% of the cases are dealt with within 32 months.
32
When I saw that,
months?
I almost fainted. But what does that mean? It says 80% of the cases are dealt with. I don't know what the phrasing is, but we get to them in 32 months. That means there's probably 20% of the cases are longer. And then every time I check the website, I don't want to check it because every time I check it, it's longer. 80% of the cases we do it in 33 months. I'm afraid if I check it now, it'll be up to 5 years. I don't know. And it's totally out of our control. There's no one to talk with. When I talked with the lawyers in Sacramento, they said, it's a waiting game. You just wait. And then, of course, they could come back and say, denied. Right?
Yeah. Now, Dave, this is, I don't think that you mentioned it this time, but Dave's an Air Force veteran. What happened to thank you for your service?
I don't know. Don't ask me. But getting back to Riley, if you've got some kind of connection, and if somebody connected knew of our situation, they'd probably say, get him the damn green card and get him over there.
So she told me she's going to get me her connection. And then I got another email from somebody who's very high up in Trump's administration just today. And he said he read my newsletter. Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled he read my newsletter. And he wants, and Dave, you need to send me all the information so I can forward it to him so he can get this unjammed. So I've got two new places. I don't want to get excited though, because I thought I do have connections to the top senators, the top congressmen. A lot of them. And I pled your case and it went nowhere. And then I had another connection to DHS, and it went nowhere. So I'm hoping maybe these two people can get to the right person. This is
There's
disgusting.
no appetite, Jeannie, for bringing people in. And what it is, it's a big bureaucratic machine. Now, if I was still working, I think if I was still working at the base, I used to have the top secret clearance at the base, worked in England,
right?
For a couple of years, came back and everything. I think they would expedite it. They say, oh, it's important that this guy gets in this, whatever.
Right.
But because I'm no longer in the system, I'm just a U.S. citizen who I'm trying to be a good citizen, pay my taxes, do the right thing,
play by the rules.
Legally, don't just. Yep. Yeah, Marietta, we were in Florida. When we were living in Mexico, we were going to Florida, visiting the girls all the time, leaving up at the right time, following the rules. Marietta could have just stayed. That's a lot of people said that. Why don't you stay? But we're not like that, Jeannie.
Right. So you thought it wouldn't take so long. So you sold some property in Australia. You moved to Mexico, to Cancun, to be just a short flight away from Florida, where your girls were leaving. You'd come and go on a tourist visa, which is a 90-day limit. And this is during this whole time where you're trying to process in for a legal renewal of her green card, and you would just leave. You would leave habitually on time, but you're in country. And
I'm in my own house.
You're in your own house
It's
that you've been
Marietta's
paying taxes
house.
on for 30 years together as a married couple.
We're in our own house in Florida. It's Marietta's house too, by the way.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So she pays U.S. tax. She pays U.S. property tax. And she has since 1990 when we got married. And we have 2 U.S. children born in Dayton, Ohio. And yet here we are being completely crushed and ground up by the meat grinder known as the legal immigration. I don't know. Maybe you can come up with a better description than that.
I just thought, all these people ballyhooing about folks, criminal illegals that are getting picked off the street, that are rapists, murderers, assaulters, domestic violence. They steal, whatever. They steal identities, you name it. And people are out there protesting on their behalf. And then everybody else is like, oh, well, okay about the criminal illegals, but we don't want, the other illegals that are here. It's okay. Just let them stay. They just only crossed the border illegally. They came in unvetted, no criminal background check, no health check, no ability to pay for themselves, and then they won't let you in. I mean, this is so maddening.
You said it better than I could.
So maddening. And
it sounds better when you say it.
Well,
it's true. That's exactly it in a nutshell. And it frustrates me when I watch what's going on over there, and I think, my goodness, if you do the good deed, apply to enter legally, you flunk the IQ test, right? Yes. That's where you went wrong, Dave. What'd you apply legally for? Just come on over. It's crazy. It's the bureaucratic meat grinder. The process rules. It's just the process, and more process.
Well,
you saw my video, right? That I
made? I did. It's really good. Yeah. Dave's got a Substack. Dave, what's your Substack title?
It's DaveIves.substack.com.
That one's complicated. DaveIves.substack.com.
I'm making a YouTube channel too, called a new one called Dave Stories.
Okay.
And the very first video is that one.
All right. Well, you have a video. I did watch it, and then for whatever reason, it wouldn't come back up again. It said private only. So maybe you can unlock that.
That's because
I
changed it from that Ives Guy channel over to Dave's Stories. So if you go to Dave's Stories, it's public.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, Dave, thanks so much for your suffering. We're all suffering through this, and I'm angry as hell. And this is the first thing on my list to do is to connect with, I can't say his name because that would not be right, this very, very high up guy, to connect with him on your topic, and then connect with Riley Gaines to see if she can help here too, because this is just it's the height of unfairness, and I'm not going to take it. Yeah.
If you can pull this one, I'm taking you to Starbucks and you get any coffee you want, gal.
Wow.
Anyone you want on me.
Okay. How about Starbucks in like Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But we can't. We have to get a green card first. Otherwise, I can't go. I mean, I can go, but you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Because, people say that I can travel, but come on, really? I'm gonna travel to the USA and leave Marietta here and show pictures of the family. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. It's cruel.
That's just ridiculous that she's not allowed to go. And what is the crime? What's the crime that's been done here?
Nothing. There's no crime. It's so unfair. And they're so cruel.
And I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe
sucks.
this unless I was in the situation.
Right. That's why
it's unbelievable. It's not a believable story.
No, it's not in any way. This it doesn't make sense to anybody.
So I can understand why people might be listening in, going, "Nah, that ain't true."
It's all true.
But I lived it.
Yeah, well, you're still living it. You documented it. We've documented it here on The Real Story. And Dave, I got to take a break. I want to thank you so much for calling in from Australia.
Thank you for having me on your last show.
Yeah, my last show.
And congratulations. And you let me know what information you want. I don't want to dump the whole load. Just what do you need?
I'll forward you the email and then you can from this guy and you can tell me what you think he's inferring. I can't decide either. So we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye, Jeanne.
All right. That's my brother-in-law, Dave, and this is The Real Story. And we'll be right back with more information.
I'm Jeanne Ives. And I'm Amy Jacobson. Join us for The Real Story beginning Monday, February 2nd from 11 to noon, Monday through Friday.
We'll bring you the real information from Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. We'll expose the lies and misinformation from the politicians and the media.
Listen to us on the station or online at 560theanswer.com. You can watch us live on Breakthrough Ideas Facebook page or Breakthrough Ideas YouTube channel.
The Real Story begins on Monday, February 2nd at 11 a.m.
Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, launching a new project, or just looking for that extra edge, your brain is your most valuable asset. Now there's a way to support it every single day, Think Factor. From the makers of Relief Factor, Think Factor is built to help you stay sharp, nurture your memory, boost your attention. It unlocks the mental clarity and precision you need to stay ahead of the game, no matter the challenge. After a couple of weeks of taking Think Factor, I noticed a dramatic difference in my clarity, my focus, even my memory. And look, the longer you take Think Factor, the better it works. This is not a one-off. You want to take Think Factor regularly. If you're a go-getter who refuses to settle, Think Factor can help you perform at your best and keep your edge. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF, or just visit ReliefFactor.com to order Think Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily with Think Factor.
She's unafraid and unapologetic. She's Laura Trump, and she's shaking things up on the Right View podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
We're now in a midterm election year, and the Democrats, I think, are panicking. They have very little to run on. The faces of their party now are socialists. Democrats, I think, are probably looking at Tim Walz and they're like, we don't need the distraction of another failed Democrat.
Subscribe to the Right View podcast with Laura Trump on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
You know, nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
The Real Story with Jeanne Ives continues on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey there, we are back. All right, I told you who I'm picking for governor, and I think everybody knows that. It's obviously Ted Dabrowski. And quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with Jim Mendrick. He's a nice guy. He just doesn't seem to be able to raise the money. He's been in the longest, couldn't do it, couldn't seal the deal. Darren Bailey and Aaron Del Mar, no way. Darren lost massively in the last election, and Aaron Del Mar is really, he's a bully. There's just no way about it. He absolutely is. If you go to my Breakthrough-Ideas website, I wrote about him there. And Rick Heidner, he's a transactional politician. He literally donated to Kim Foxx, and then he gets up there and grandstands on a debate stage about how he hates sanctuary state and the Safety Act. Like, how in the hell does he think he's a Republican? He also donated $25,000 to Brandon Johnson just to talk business with him. And he said that on the debate stage. Ted Dabrowski all the way. We'll be right back with the Edgar County Watchdogs after this break.
Hugh Hewitt has a new nickname for the president.
He ought to be known as the Punisher. He punishes people who need to be punished. And in this past year, he has punished Iran. He has punished the Somalia terrorists. He's punished terrorists in Nigeria. He has punished people all across the globe who have acted out of line, like Nicolas Maduro. And he's going to punish the people who break the Constitution's laws concerning all sorts of things.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Fox News, I'm Kathleen Maloney. A partial government shutdown continues as Democrats demand restrictions on immigration operations.
ICE is tear gassing elementary schools. It is disappearing legal residents into cars. It is murdering American citizens. ICE is making this country less safe, not more safe today.
Senator Chris Murphy on Fox News Sunday. Major flight delays as a northeaster battered the southeast this weekend. Fox's Madison Scarpino at Charlotte Douglas International Airport.
Most flights were canceled, and there was a ground stop almost all day long. But we did see a ton of people later in the afternoon with layovers here, speaking with customer service after a canceled flight.
Flight Aware reporting nearly 2,000 flight cancellations today, more than 18,000 delays. America is listening to Fox News.
It's Reveille. Last week at the March for Life, Vice President Vance minced no words about what abortion represents. In strong terms, he said, in the ancient pagan world, discarding children was routine. From the skeletons in brothels to the child sacrifice of the Mayans, the mark of barbarism is that we treat babies like inconveniences to be discarded rather than the blessings that they are. He continued, the March for Life is about whether we remain a civilization under God or we return to the paganism that dominated the past. The far left in this country tells our young people that marriage and children are obstacles. It's a lie. Pro-abort heads are likely exploding over VP Vance's comparison of abortion to Mayan child sacrifice. He will also likely be accused of racism for reminding people of the first century history of the culture of our neighbors south of the border. No one in such a high elected office has spoken so bravely and pointedly about abortion. To go along with VP Vance's courageous stand, last week, the Trump administration's Health and Human Services Office sent Illinois a letter threatening to withhold federal funds if the state did not take corrective action in regards to a 2016 healthcare rights of conscience law. That law forces medical providers to refer for abortion, violating First Amendment rights. The legislation barely passed the legislature, with some Democrats joining every Republican in voting no. Republican Bruce Rauner, however, signed the bill and it became law. The law has been under litigation since 2018 and currently is at the appellate court level. Illinois should recognize they're wrong and settle the case now. Not only should they do the right thing, but if Illinois doesn't retreat from the law, upwards of $20 billion in federal funds could be at risk. Once again, this law shows how radical and barbaric Illinois politicians are from both parties. I'm Jeanne Ives. Join me on The Real Story Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Don't get stuck with a cold shower this winter. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Old man winter is here. Don't get stuck in the cold. And the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this winter special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive winter special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Hey there, Chicagoland. Jeff here from Jeff Buys Your House. For many homeowners, winter can feel overwhelming. There's big bills, unexpected situations, or the stress of owning a home you no longer want. But here's the good news. You don't need to wait for warmer weather to make a change. At Jeff Buys Your House, we make selling simple. Even in the heart of winter, you don't need to fix anything, do any cleaning, and you certainly don't need to worry about unpredictable buyers. We buy houses as is, and you choose the closing date that works best for you. We've made the home selling process easy and stress-free for nearly 2 decades. That's why homeowners trust us, and why we've earned over 400 Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. As a veteran-owned business, we handle everything with integrity and care. So if winter is weighing on you, we are here to help lighten the load. Call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com and get your offer today.
We now return to The Real Story. Here's your host, Jeanne Ives.
Well, you know what that music means? It's time for the Watchdogs. The Edgar County Watchdogs from Edgar County. And they join me here, as they usually do, at 8:35. And fortunately, guys, we're going to have you on as regulars when we start our news show this coming week. I think we're putting you on Wednesdays at 11:35. That's going to be your regular spot. So for all my listeners who love these Watchdog stories, and I don't know who wouldn't, you can listen for them then. But hopefully you'll listen every single day at The New Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson, starting tomorrow morning 11 to noon, Monday through Friday. So anyway, it's really been fun to have you guys on, and I'm so glad that we get to continue these conversations over the air so everybody can hear of the work that you're doing. Let's start with John. John, how are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for having us. How are you?
I'm well, doing great. I'm a little bit angry. I mean, I don't know if you heard that segment that I just had with my brother-in-law in Australia and his immigration hellhole that he's in. Legal immigration. Yeah. So I'm a little bit angry. You know, government sucks. Big government sucks worse. You know, oh my gosh. But otherwise, doing good. So what do you have on your plate?
Well, a couple bills that are presented to in the House that need to be talked about. The first one is the Health Misinformation Response Unit, and with the trained, trusted messengers to assist in communicating accurate health information. It kind of I read the bill, and it kind of reminded me of the Saudi Arabian Commission for the Promotion of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice, and the battalion police, who would go around and beat up people that didn't abide by their social standards. So with this, Dave Vela Representative Vella.
Yeah, he's a Rockford representative, folks. He's from Rockford, Dave Vella. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're going to establish within the Illinois Department of Public Health a health misinformation response unit.
If this doesn't sound Orwellian, I don't know what else does.
Well, it gets worse. Within this response unit, they want basically anybody that publishes information about health, which would be corporations, nonprofits, and it doesn't exempt newspapers or media from any of this either.
Yeah.
The IDPH is going to monitor the health misinformation trends on social media, community forums, and other web and news sources, and record all trends noticed. Now, first you have to define what they consider misinformation.
Well, that's right. Okay, so State Rep Bill Howder wrote about this on his Facebook page, and that's where I first saw that they had filed this bill. And he wrote, "From the people that believe a boy can be a girl, now comes House Bill 4596 and health, quote, misinformation, end quote, response units. People could face civil or criminal penalties for spreading medical misinformation under this plan, as violations of the law would fall under the Illinois Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Businesses Practices Act. Just so you understand, HB 4596 would allow the state to regulate, silence, and prosecute any health information they deem misinformation, including anything that opposes the state's narrative on vaccinations, transgender medicine, pregnancy centers, etc. This is unconstitutional, of course, and that makes me even more fearful that it will pass in Illinois." That's what he wrote. I think he's
Correct.
exactly right.
He is correct. And I didn't know he wrote it. I just came across this the other day when I was searching other bills that I was interested in.
Yep.
They're even going to recruit local health professionals and community leaders to serve as trusted messengers to assist in communicating
Snitches? You mean
accurate health
snitches?
information.
It sounds like snitches to me.
Snitches to communicate accurate information. Well, define accurate, and they're going to force publishers to cite sources. Now, anybody can cite a source, but you have to be able to trust the source that's cited.
This is insane. Okay, John, let's get to the meat of it. This is in the wake of all the misinformation that we were fed during COVID, in the wake of Fauci's lies, which are enormous, in the wake of, the vaccine will cure you, right? In the wake of all of that garbage, they're now going to say that they are the arbiters of what is truth and what's not truth when it comes to health. I mean, this is so. Okay, first of all, you know what? We're going to get the same judge, hopefully, that shut down the pregnancy center. You're a pregnancy center and you're pro-life. Oh, no, you've got to refer for abortion. Remember what he said? This is stupid. His quote, literally what he said, the judge said about that law, this is stupid and very likely unconstitutional. We're going to get the same determination. The first thing they pass this, they get sued on. The judge is going to come in and say, this is stupid and very likely unconstitutional. And then the attorney general is going to back away and say, okay, we won't enforce it, which is exactly what happened, but it's still on the books with the pregnancy center thing. They never rescinded it. It got signed by Pritzker because he's a freaking moron.
Well, the issue with me, more of the issue is, during COVID, they were citing the U.S. Department of Health and all those people. And you got to trust the science, And as soon as the administration changed at the national level, screw them. We're not going to listen to them anymore. We're going to listen to the other people.
Great point. Really good point. What did they say about the abortion pill, which in 11% of the cases of the women who take the abortion pill, it has been determined that they have significant adverse effects from the abortion pill, including death. Significant. And so they did this whole study on the abortion pill, massive study on it, and found this information out. And then the federal government is looking into whether or not this should be regulated, whether it should be taken off the market and all that. And the Pritzker administration came out and they said, and they put a law in place. Actually, they passed the law last year. And that law says that as long as a previously authorized drug is okayed by the World Health Organization, and then is later not allowed by the U.S. government, it's okay. You can still use it in Illinois.
Correct.
And we're going to trust these people to determine what's misinformation in health? Oh, hell no.
It's obvious it's all political with them guys. It's all political.
This is it's such a freaking waste of time. And if people don't see through these Democrats, and it's not just Pritzker, it's all of them. It's the whole freaking slew of them. In fact, Bill Status, who's the idiot? Oh, yeah, it's Dave Vella. Dave Vella, you're a guy. You're an idiot. You're just a moron. Rockford, get rid of this guy. This should be the only thing that you vote against with regards to him. This guy's a knucklehead. Sorry.
Yep. And if you violate the act, you get charged with consumer fraud, deceptive business practices.
What an ass this guy is. He's a freaking ass. I'm going down for the budget address. I'm going to tell him that to his face.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right. Okay. Well, they also seem to be going after you guys, right? Because they have these new FOIA bills. It's like they're written to shut down the Watchdogs.
Well,
pick one or two of them because then I got to go to break. But what do you see?
I initially thought that, and then I remember I had a conversation with one of the AG FOIA attorneys, and they were being inundated with AI-generated requests for review, and it's obvious that they're all generated by AI, and people who just have nothing better to do. But
okay.
I think they're going about it wrong. But they have a vexatious requester bill in there, a repeat commercial request bill, a mass requester, and a purposeless mass request. So 3 of those 4 exempt media, except for the purposeless mass request. If they think it's purposeless, then you have to prove by a written statement on how you're going to review and the information that you're wanting, and how you're going to publish it, and prove that you published something before. So it's a little ridiculous. They need to redo these and not make it so harsh on the average person wanting to get information from their local government.
Right. I mean, the corollary to this, though, is the government could be a lot more transparent and just put stuff out and then say, here's a link to your information. You go figure it out.
Yeah, they should. They should.
I mean, I can see their side on some of this stuff, on some of it. But I tell you what, what's important are the emails like, what's his name? John Solomon, Just the News found, basically proving up that the 51 traders were doing that exact thing. They were basically being traitors against the United States, and he came up with that email. So those emails between particular parties, between particular individuals, that is valuable information that should be FOIA'd.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Mass FOIAs with no purpose. I do understand that, and especially if they're AI generated, somebody's just trying to rack up a bunch of FOIA fees if they're not responded to in time. That's how I read that.
I believe they are, and it's understandable wanting to shut that part down, but I think they're going about it the wrong way.
Yep. Okay, we got to take a break now. We'll be right back, and we'll hear from Kirk Allen. This is The Real Story with Jeanne Ives.
Who's watching me?
Do you use a Link EBT card to buy food? Please listen carefully. Rules for SNAP eligibility have changed. You could lose your benefits if you don't act soon. Visit SaveOurSNAP.org to learn about new rules, how they impact your household, and the steps you need to take to keep your food benefits. Don't wait. Go to SaveOurSNAP.org today. Sponsored by the Illinois Commission to End Hunger. Aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Stay tuned for a special message from Angel Dad Joe Abraham about his daughter Katie.
Put yourself in my shoes. I just spent my first Christmas without Katie. My daughter was murdered by an illegal immigrant Governor Pritzker protected. Imagine her final breaths, knowing that you would have given your life for hers, but you didn't have the chance. Put your child in Katie's shoes. Think of the unfulfilled dreams, the unrealized joys, and the permanent loss. I'm not a political guy, but when politicians unleash violent criminals, we all need to get involved. We can do better, and we must do better. Ted Dabrowski would have protected Katie, and he'll protect your children the way I wish someone had protected mine.
I'm Ted Dabrowski, and I approve this message.
Don't miss Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn every Sunday from 11 to 12. Robert has a different way of looking at retirement from most financial advisors and is happy to share his ideas with you every week. So don't miss what he has to say. Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn, Sunday mornings from 11 to 12 on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Lindell has a passion to help people get the best sleep of their life. He started by creating the best pillow ever, and right now he is passing the best prices to you when you use promo code LIBERTY. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get wholesale pricing on the classic My Pillows for $17.98. Transform any mattress with a My Mattress topper and save up to $100. Get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $39.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Rest easy remembering that MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty. Call today, 800-489-0201, promo code LIBERTY.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? My name is Hugh McKenzie, and I'm a devout listener of The Answer. They have partnered with Food for the Poor consistently for the last few years. In the past, I've always wanted to participate, but unfortunately never had the extra cash at the end of the year to do so. But last weekend, I received the mail, and there was a bonus check for $2,500 from Mack Truck for selling commercial vehicles. I decided that I was all in. As I mentioned, I sell commercial vehicles. Everything from Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, new and used. I've been selling for over 30 years in the Chicagoland market. Call me at 630-918-9534 or check me out on the web. Google my name, Hugh McKenzie, and Hugh is spelled H-U-G-H, McKenzie is spelled M-C-K-E-N-T-Y. All right, thank you very much for your time.
To contact Hugh McKenzie, search Hugh McKenzie on LinkedIn or call 630-918-9534. That's 630-918-9534.
You're listening to The Real Story with your host, Jeanne Ives.
Well, welcome back. This is the final segment of The Real Story with Jeanne Ives. And hey, guys, John and Kirk, guess what? We're all going to get our Sunday nights back. Wow, I guess that's something to look forward to. Although,
I enjoy these Sunday nights.
Well, I really appreciate you guys always being available for me and bringing up a lot of good information and sharing it. And so it's been a good ride. And you know what? We're just going to move it to the weekday. So we'll see if we can catch more listeners at that time. That's our goal, is to expand the audience. And again, listeners, you can still always catch us on the podcast. If you missed it at any time, you can go to the podcast listing on AM 560 and listen to it as you go walk your dog or whatever. And also, if you don't really get good reception for AM 560, you can listen online. You can listen on their AM 560 app. I would encourage you to download that. That's actually how I listen every single morning. I mean, how many people have a stationary radio in their house anymore? Most people don't. Clock radios have gone out the window. I mean, I still actually have one, but I don't use it. I use my phone, and everybody uses their phone for everything, and that's how you can listen as well and get great reception. So anyway, all right, Kirk, so what do you got tonight?
Well,
we've been diving into some of these audits that we found on the Auditor General's site and just reviewing them, and we focus on malfeasance so much, and when we start looking at the state level, it's just shocking to see audit after audit after audit, and these people, look at the governor, for example. The audit findings, I think out of 12 findings, 10 of them were repeat. Well, that means he didn't fix any of them from the last time. And the list is just shocking when you read it. And the question is, where's the accountability? All of these audits are done by private, certified public accounting firms. I know a county audit is costing upwards of $100,000 or more. Mm-hmm. What are these audits for these state agencies costing? I mean, we're doing hundreds
imagine
of them.
some of them are done by the Auditor General's office, who actually has professionals in it. So I don't know that they're $100,000 a piece. I would hope not.
Well, I have not found a single audit of a state agency yet that was not done by a contracted CPA firm in the state of Illinois.
Well, that'd be something to FOIA, is the cost.
We're working on it because I've specifically spent several hours trying to find an actual Auditor General's audit.
Oh.
And we're not finding that. We're finding they're contracting private entities to come in and do these audits. And it's shocking to see every year the same audit company for the governor, Weston Company, does their audit. Sickich does, audits for other agencies. I mean, it's the same firms every 2 years that are getting these contracts, and nobody's fixing anything. Nobody's being held accountable. I mean, and we've been through this in the past, Department of Corrections and their audits and DNR. I mean, the malfeasance is just over the top. Well, how do we fix it? I really would love to know, because nobody is holding them accountable.
Well, I think if you have a governor who actually cares and is competent and actually wants to do things right and in accordance with law, I think then you do start to, I'm not saying it's easy. I don't think some of this is that easy to figure out. There's obviously large systematic errors in how they're doing business, things that you have to get down and dirty about and figure out where the problem started and how to account for things properly and how to train people properly to do the right thing and everything. But I don't think that it's easy to fix, but I think you first have to have somebody who cares to even fix it. And I guarantee you that is not J.B. Pritzker. He could care less.
Well, it's not, to me, it's not hard to fix. If I'm in an office and I've been given an assignment of, hey, I'm to take care of this office, I'm going to first and foremost find out what my duties and obligations are. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go look at the last audit and see what's not being done and make sure all that gets addressed and corrected. And then I'm going to ask, whether it be the CPA or whoever else, hey, I want you to look at this and make sure I'm not missing something. But in this case, it's the same stuff year after year after year, and we can't even get the basics right. The Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity.
Oh yeah,
I filed a FOIA. I filed a FOIA with them, and the attorney. Just one of the requests was for a FOIA training certificate, and he didn't even. We don't have any. What do you mean you don't have any? That's the most basic obligation you have to have. The attorney doesn't even know what the law is. And we've turned that one over to the attorneys and let them handle it in court, because we're not going to waste our time with the AG on this stuff. We're just going to take them to court because, like you said in one of your earlier segments, you have to sue these people. Nothing gets their attention unless you take them to court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's an easy one. That's also an easy fixable. And honestly, if they had come back to you and said, we lapsed, we'll get the training done, that you'd have been like, okay, get it done.
Right. Well, in one of his responses, I wanted the board members' OMA certificates. He didn't, and he says, for how many boards? I said, for all of them, because they have a bunch of offices that answer to them. Well, we don't have any idea how many that might be. Really? Go take a look at his last audit for that office, page 33. It lists every single office under that agency. How hard was that to figure out how many you have? These people are collecting a check and they're not doing a job.
No, they're not. It's no, that's like everybody needs to be thrown out. Now, unfortunately, you get a new governor in there. They have all these work requirements, and labor unions control 98% of the state government workforce. Even the lawyers are unionized in Illinois state government. And so then you have all these, you want to try and get somebody to actually do their job. You're going through a whole union grievance process. All right. I can't believe it. We're out of time. John, Kirk, what a great way to close out The Real Story with Jeanne Ives. Really thank you again for what you do. And folks, The Real Story is not ending. It's just moving Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to noon. Join us tomorrow, myself and Amy Jacobson. Thank you so much for listening on Sunday nights. I'll miss you all, but I'll see you tomorrow.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical.